We both stood there. The only sound that could be heard was the electricity in the air, smothered by the damp atmosphere. Finally, I began to walk. I didn't hear Margaret follow me, but I kept moving forward. Then, "Nathan," she said. "Stop. Please stop." So I stopped. "I'm sorry," she said. I could hear her moving closer to me. "I'm tired and I'm not used to running and climbing around like this. I'm just tired." "It's okay," I said. She gripped my arm. "Really, it's fine." I shook my head. "Which way is out?" "I don't remember." I could feel Margaret physically pause. Neither of us could remember, somehow. In the confusion of our argument, I'd forgotten which way we had been moving. Idiot, I thought to myself. I should have brought the goddamn rope, or something. The trail from the entrance of the cave. I had to take action, so, without much thought, I turned 180 degrees and said, "This way." We walked for what seemed to be hours. My feet were tired and sore, and I could hear Margaret's groans from behind me. She held my hand tightly. I felt terrible. This was my fault. Then I froze. Hey, I said. "Put your hand out. Feel this rock." I could hear Margaret's bare palm press against the stone. "Isn't this like abnormally warm?" I said. She didn't say anything. I began to work my way along the wall, feeling it as I went, shining the flashlight in front of me. Suddenly, I felt a sharp pain in my head, as the ceiling of God's mouth went with my skull. "Ow! Shit!" I shouted. "Oh, Nathan, are you okay?" Margaret asked. She seemed to be on the verge of a panic now. "I'm fine, I promise." "Please, calm down. We'll get out of this soon, I promise." I started again, pointing my flashlight upwards. Now I see the ceiling above me. It seemed to be out getting narrower. That was strange. "Listen." "Margaret, babe," I said through the clench of teeth. "I think we gotta turn around." Margaret sighed next to me. Again, we walked to the distant length. I kept my flashlight pointed upwards. This time, sure enough, the space in the cave seemed to become smaller and smaller. If there was any recent of light left in God's mouth, aside from my flashlight, I'm sure Margaret would have been able to see the whiteness of my eyes, spreading in the panic. We were completely lost. I let go of Margaret's hand and began to furiously feel my way along the walls. "No, Nathan," I heard her shout. I kept going. We had to get out. If we were lost, nobody would be able to find us. I kept feeling along the wall until I abruptly hit the corner. "Shoot!" I said aloud. "Margaret, this seems to be a dead end." I spun around on my heel. Margaret, no answer. "Shoot!" I began to repeat my process again, almost running as I felt the wall run past my fingertips, cool, damp rocks and jagged spears. Suddenly, I found myself at the corner again. "Shoot, shoot, shoot!" I shouted. "Margaret." I was bleeding and belting for her name out to call me out. In the corner of the cave's maw, where I had been thwarted so many times already, I heard a noise. It sounded like a muffled static from the television. I pressed my ear against the rock. It seemed to be getting even warmer now. I heard the faint sounds of Margaret on the other side of the rock. She was screaming. "No, no, no," I said. "No, no, 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 no." I began running into the walls around me, with drowning resistance came from the wave of the sheer horror. There was no entrance, there was no exit, there was only four corners in me. I could feel blood begin to trickle down my cut. I managed to get bashing my body into the caves. They were closing in on me. They were coming in to kill, and soon it would be pressing my skull and crushing my ribcage. I sat there for hours, waiting for my death. My flashlight was becoming dim and blinking. Finally, I felt the soft touch of the rocky walls press against my back. I began to cry as I lay down on the ground. I let my flashlight roll on the small hills of stone. I quietly stayed prone, tears dripping down my face. I turned to look at the flashlight one last time. Its fading beam of light pointed at something not far away from my face. I squinted in the darkness. There, in the last light of my flashlight, was the appetizer. The spotlight shone on my hand, whose nails were painted red, and I screamed in agony as I watched God's mouth chew his last meal.